All right. Welcome. It looks like we got one person on. So it's my first time doing a live stream. This should be fun and interesting. Ooh. Should be somewhat exciting. Maybe. It's different than a Zoom, I guess, right? Whole Zoom world. A couple people in here. Mess in here. All right. How do you find like the chat? Do that. Okay, chat box is right there. All right, I got a couple people on. Okay, so I'm going to take too long. I'm going to go over and review yesterday's trade. Hopefully people can see. I believe you can see my screen. Looks like the mic is working. All right, let's get going. So yesterday's trade, we welcome to Learn to Trade, where I'm trying to help people learn how to trade. If you can chat in, let me know. If you can see and hear anything, it would help me. This is my first one. See, we got a couple people on, but don't want to take up too much of your Saturday. So let's go over this, and if you have questions, chat in, and I'm trying to answer them best as possible. So when you're learning to trade, I talk a lot about building your truth, right? And your truth is going to be different than my truth. But I want to show you how I built my truth. It would be very difficult for somebody to tell me that trading does not work. I've been doing it now for 8 years. But in the very beginning, it'd probably been very easy for someone to tell me trading didn't work, and I could have believed him because I was trying to build my truth up to, get that confidence. And so one way, and probably the quickest way to start really doing this, is replay or back testing or looking at historical data, looking at the trades, taking trades, reviewing trades, and journaling about the trades. I'm a big believer on execution, following rules, but it's like, how do we build those rules? Thank you, Gary. Nice to see you. So how do we build those rules up and have the confidence in them? Or what rules should we follow? Or how do we determine if it matters or if it doesn't matter? It's a process that we all get to go through. So this right now, I'm kind of working on just a couple of things to see if it matters or if it doesn't matter. So this is what I call, or like to call, momentum. And so as we're going through, we're going to take the trade. I used to have students sit and kind of wait for a trade to set up, a trade plan. I kind of went to a different route of, let's just have a time that we're going to trade. So just pick a time. I get down, and when that time hits, take a trade. Whether you think it's going to buy or sell, take the trade, journal it, and see what happens. I think this is going to kind of help a lot of individuals start to build that confidence and truth that they might know what they're actually doing. So in this one right here, very simple. I've been kind of talking about momentum. This is 7 o'clock Central Time in the US Dow yesterday. So if I've been working on momentum and trying to see if momentum works. Again, we got to get a big sample. The larger sample size we get of data collected, the more confidence we should have in the truth, right? Well, that's something that I got to get used to. All right, so then I'd hit share this tab. There we go. Now I can see it. So this is just a journaling sheet. I think I might be able to, I'm going to try this out. So this is kind of a first for me. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to put it in the chat. Showed up. All right, beautiful. So we're going to go through this process, and the more data we get, the more information we collect, the bigger we're going to, or the more confidence or truth you should have, right? That'd be cool. So switches over pretty easily. All right. And I've been kind of trying to show people this momentum. It's one thing that kind of started helping me a lot. This is our pressure indicator. The price is above. I like that. So right when I see here, it's like, okay, I think it's going to buy, or I did yesterday. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take a buy trade. I like to use the ATR with my students at the very beginning for money management. We can get deeper into money management. But I think money management, as long as you're putting your stop loss on, you want some rules for money management. But the simpler we can keep things in the very beginning, the better it's going to be. So a very simple way to do your money management, take profit, stop loss, is using the ATR that you're using on the chart. I like to double the ATR. That seems to put the stop loss or the protection out far enough to kind of give it a little bit of room to see if it can kind of go up and hit the take profit. Or a lot of times, right, the market will kind of go maybe against you a little bit before it goes in the direction. So you want to give it enough room to give it that chance to go up and hit your take profit, but not too much room that you have to lower your lot size and all sorts of stuff, because this is a risk game. And you have to get really confident. The more you risk, the more you can get your reward. Okay? So, yep. And this would be based off the ATR on the 5. I just use the 5. You can pick other ATRs, but I like the 5. So it's just going to be on the 5 candles back. And so it's 43. I'm going to double that. It's going to be about 86. This is our trade simulator. So we'll go 43, 86. And then I'm just going to go for the take profit as well. You can do other things, but I think a 1-to-1 is a good starting point. And then we can kind of adjust if we need to. Now at a 1-to-1, if you're just kind of new to the game and figuring this out, if you can do a 1-to-1, meaning your take profit and stop loss are equal, and you can do that 55% of the time, meaning that you hit your take profit 55% of the time and only your stop loss 45% of the time, you're going to have a pretty good growing account. Right? So one hard part about trading is there's not an absolute, meaning, and there are some absolutes, but I think we want to have a plan that says, if I can just do this, I'll be successful. But there's so many things, right? Or if this happens, then I always get this result. It's probably a better way to look at it. And so what we want to do, right, is understand that it can look the best. It can be the best setup that you've ever seen, and it can still go down and hit your stop loss just for no other reason, just because of the law of averages and probability and things of that nature. So that's a hard part to kind of get over, that I can do everything right, and I did do everything right, and I can still not hit my take profit, and that's perfectly fine. So remember, when we're doing a 1-to-1, as long as we can hit the take profit 55% of the time, right, and only this 45, and if you can get it bigger, better, you're going to have a better growth. But if you can get above 55%, you're going to be enjoying that you are trading. So we're going to take a buy here. Now, spread's going to be different with different brokers. The spread that I'm currently with does about 2 points. Is that something to kind of notice? That's, a lot of people talk about, well, what's different in this trade simulator or a trade simulator or in back testing. Back testing is not the live market. In the live market, we have the buy and the sell. You have the spread. So if I'm taking a buy, you can look at it two different ways, right? I get in at the buy price, but the sell price is what's going to take me out. And if there's a spread of 2 points, which is the difference between the buy and the sell, it actually has to go 2 points past my take profit for me to get out if I'm back testing or collecting data. And if it's less than 2 points to hit my my stop loss. So sometimes spread is a hard part for individuals to understand at the very beginning. But as I would, there's like this second line, there's two lines, there's a buy line and there's a sell line. And so if this was the buy price, the sell price would be about 2 points below that. And so you can see that the sell price takes me out. So this sell, as this starts to move down in unison, it has to go less than 2 points to hit this. But if it starts moving up, my buy price will actually pass it. My stop or my sell price is what's going to take me out. Now, when I do back testing, I like picking currency pairs that have a low spread. The Euro USD has a low one. The US and this broker, the US 30 or the Dow, has a low one. It's only 2 points. So I just kind of make sure it goes past 2 points. Now, I'm going to make sure I journal this stuff. Journaling is huge. We don't journal, then how do we know if we're doing something right or wrong, or if we can collect the data and see if we have to make adjustments, or if we start picking up some patterns? We're going to find that all out about journaling. So I come over here, I just paste. Not sure yet if it's going to. We're going to take a buy. Is it going to hit my take profit or stop loss? Not sure yet. And I erased some data off an old sheet here. That's why those are set up. But not sure if that's going to. But why do I like the trade? Well, I'm trying to figure out this momentum, right? Or if you're trying to figure out this momentum, I already kind of know about the momentum, but I'm trying to teach about this momentum. So we have the momentum in our favor. The price is above. The pressure line. I do like when the candle is close to the pressure line. We have some students and coaches in our program that want it touching the pressure line. As long as it's pretty close, I'm okay and comfortable with it. The farther the candle gets away from the pressure line, it usually has a tendency maybe to come back. So this candle is pretty close. The candle close to the pressure line. I can't even remember if the inclination. I think one of the inclinations was going. The inclination kind of went a little bit here, but not bad. Maybe a little bit divergence, and that's another thing. Maybe a little bit of divergence happening here. And so I kind of put two tabs on here, what I like and what I dislike about the trade. Some people might say exhaustion, but we're probably not getting to exhaustion quite yet. Might start getting close. But we did have this consolidation broke out. We have another consolidation here. That's kind of like taking a breath. So we might, might be able to have that momentum to go up. And after it kind of really made this push up, this is really the first time it's kind of testing the pressure line. So I wouldn't really say there was exhaustion. So we're pretty good there. All right. So we have those few things. Like I said, we could say what we dislike about the trade. But at the very beginning, I could sit there and mention a ton of things, but you might be at a very beginning spot at a different level. And you might only be able to pick one or two things, and that's fine if that's where you're at. Don't be too concerned if you can't write down a million different things why you think it's going to hit your take profit or why you don't like it. A couple things, especially when you're tracking something. And a lot of times you're just trying to figure out if something is important or not. It might just be one thing that you want to go back and start to look at and get enough data to say, hey, that is important, or maybe it's not too important. So once we do that, we're going to go and see. Love that when it goes up and hits the take profit right away. It feels good. Okay? But to get your mind right in trading, and so much of it between when I first was learning how to trade, right? I won't even use others. I'll just use myself. When I first was learning how to trade to now where I have the confidence in the truth of trading, I was so, as a beginning trader, I was so attached to the outcome of the trade, right? The outcome of the trade, so attached to that. And the longer you get, right, and a little bit attached, my coaches and my mentors like, hey, make sure you're following the rules, make sure you're doing this, make sure you're executing. So I was focusing on the entry of the trade, but if we were trying to put it on a scale, right, that was a little part of focus, and then the result was a lot of focus. Whether I won the trade, lost the trade, it was all about whether I was doing good or bad. The longer I've been doing that, the result of the trade now is a very small part of my emotions or what I care about. And the setup of the trade, the execution of the trade is now my huge focus. So I use a 95-5% type on a lot of things. So you can say at the very beginning, I was focused about 5% on the setup and the execution and 95% on the result. And now I'm focused probably even above 95% on the execution of the trade and less than 5% on the result. And so if you are taking trades and you're getting upset if it hits your stop loss, or if it barely misses your take profit, or you're getting excited if it hits your take profit and doesn't hit your stop loss, or you win 3 trades in a row and you start getting really emotional about that, it's not bad, right? But you have to understand that winning and losing is trading. So why do we put our emotions on that stuff? And we had this trade summit where we went to. Is great. I'm going to talk about a thing that I learned on that and want people on here to start implementing it if you're not. But I went to that, and we had a coaches board, where a coaches panel where we could sit up in front of everybody and they could ask us questions. And one of the traders asked, what was the big thing that what were some big steps that kind of helped you get to where you're at? And the time, or when I started to focus, that's a better way. When I started focusing on what I could control and stop to try to worry about the things that I couldn't control, my trading got a lot better. And as much as we want to control whether we win or lose the trade, that just doesn't happen on individual trades. It's out of our control. It's the market's control. Now, we kind of get reins on the market because we get a large sample of trades over a large period of time. So we know at a high level that this is a probability that it's going to win. It's like in Texas Hold'em. I always love to use this example. Pocket aces, if you're not sure about Texas Hold'em, you get 2 hold cards, everybody around. It's a poker game. You get 2 hold cards, and then you kind of can do some betting, but you have the starting hand, right? And the 2 hold cards, or the highest starting hand, is what they call pocket aces, or 2 aces. Math, it's the highest probability and chances to win the hand. So anytime I get pocket aces, I'm going to play pocket aces. Now, does that mean that I win every time I get pocket aces? No. And if I have pocket aces and I lose, the next time I get pocket aces, I don't get upset and throw them in and don't play the hand. I play the hand as well, because I know that there's a high probability when I have pocket aces in play, I'm going to win the hand. It's just math. So we do the same thing. And you might lose 1 pocket aces. You might lose 2. But if you play 1,000 hands with pocket aces, it's going to get really close to what the percentage is that you should win. So the same thing. All right. Now, once we do that, we're going to go back. We're going to kind of finish the journaling process. So that did what I thought it was going to do. I like to kind of color coordinate these things. I like that here. Red, lost, green. And here we go, right? I had a momentum trade that didn't win here. I had another momentum trade that didn't win there. Another one that didn't win. But we have a winner here, a winner here, a winner here, a winner here, a winner here. So it is doing better than we want it to do, just focusing on the momentum. Right? And very small sample size, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades. But it's starting to show the signs of that. Now, the thing that I wanted to show with, and this is a good time to do it, Saturday. I used to have a webinar called Back to the Basics, but my company's kind of changing some stuff up. So I'm not doing that. So now welcome to YouTube Live, right? And that's where I'm going to start kind of doing this on Saturdays just to kind of reconnect with some students. But this right here, journaling, right? Journaling the things that you do. And I do this in trading or whatever. You can do this on personal lives, but 3 things that I did well this week, and I'd like to do it weekly. You can do it daily, but 3 things I did well this week and 1 thing that I can do better. And this is something I highly recommend you do in your life. I think a lot of times, especially in trading, gosh, do we focus on the negative as we're learning to trade more than the positive? Most likely, right? Just easy to focus on the losses and we're not doing great and all that stuff. So if we can do this every day or weekly, 3 things that you did well. So 1 thing, I traded, traded every day. I'm trying to get back. I was doing really good working out, and then I kind of hit a low, and I stopped working out. So I worked out 1 day this week, only 1. Get back on the track. Worked out. And I like to go outside. I'm kind of a spiritual guy. I like to go outside, so I call it my spiritual exercises. I did pretty good this week. Went outside, kind of took my little time outside, kind of getting my spiritual side of me, but did pretty good on my spiritual exercises this week. And 1 thing that I can do better, I really wanted to work out more than 1 time a day. So the thing that I can do better, right, is maybe set an alarm. To remind me to work out. All right. That's about the extent of it. I'm not going to run these lives too long. This is the first one, so thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can put them in the comments if you rewatch this video or watch it. I don't even know how YouTube Live works yet, so it's a learning experience for me. But we'll kind of get on here. I'll try to do this almost every Saturday, maybe every other Saturday. Get on, do some reviews, ask some questions or answer some questions. And if you're watching my videos during the week, I'm trying to post all my trades that I do or the review of the trades. I try to do pretty good about answering the questions in there as well, so put them in there. But other than that, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on my first YouTube Live. And we'll see everybody this week on the posts, and maybe try this again. Probably the first little bit, try this quite a bit to get used to it. But other than that, you guys have a great weekend. Keep up the great work. And anytime you got a question, just hit me up on the YouTube channel, and we'll talk to everybody later. Bye, everybody.